Good morning, everyone. Today we're doing something quite slightly different. So instead of doing some front end stuff, we're actually going to install Coolify on a server and see kind of how it works and why I think it's so damn cool. So yeah, Coolify is an open source and self-hostable like a Heroku slash Netlify thing, which also adds a bunch of services and like one-click databases. It's really nice. So we're gonna be installing it. Cool. So I want to point out that I'm a noob. I'm also a nerd, but I'm also a noob at these things. So I had a lot of help getting this to run properly. Even though when you see me do it, it's gonna be like, oh, that's actually not that bad. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying I'm a noob. So I'm using Hetzer, mostly because I like Hetzer. It's the only one that I actually know how to use. You can obviously use like DigitalOcean, anything you want. So anything where you can SSH into a server works. I know how to use Hetzer, so I'm not gonna change it. I like them. They're nice peeps, you know? So yeah, add a new server, just select the default server, which is about €5 a month, and it's in Helsinki. Cool. And we're gonna add my SSH key for this computer, and we're gonna change this from Hell1 to Hell because that's who we are as people. And yeah, well, this does, I want you all to know, very important, that when you actually like drive into the Helsinki airport or take the bus, I think I took the bus, it doesn't matter. There's like this huge sign that just says welcome to hell, because that's like the 3-letter code of the airport without the second L. And I feel like this should be in the front of every single airport, should have a huge sign that just says welcome to hell, because there is no way you're gonna enjoy that. And we're done. And you've learned something, so there you go. So let's SSH into the server. By default, I already have the SSH key in it. So we're gonna just type SSH and we're gonna root at the, not what I wanted. We're gonna root at this IP address. Oop, come here. This IP address, and it's gonna, okay, please type yes or no, sorry, yes. It permanently added it, and now it's starting to show. So look at that, a server. Okay, how do we install Coolify here? So we come to the website, and if you scroll down, you have this. And copy and paste it. It tells you like, there's only all required packages, a lot of the Docker stuff that needs to be installed, and a lot of, I actually have no idea. I just know Docker. So I learned this word. And we're gonna type, yes, I want to install Docker Engine. If you want to check what this server or what this sh file actually does, you can check it out. It's all open source. And yeah, this is going to take a bit because it's installing all the Docker stuff, and we'll be back in about like 2 or 3 minutes. We're back. I have no idea how long that took, but it was like 3 minutes. It's quite fast, and trust me, my internet is not very good. I live in Berlin. There's no such thing as good internet for personal people here. It's going to tell you to visit your IPv6 at port 3000, which will do absolutely nothing. So it means the IPv4. So what we can do now is go to this IP, right? Which I can't copy from here, so I'm just gonna copy from Hetzer. So copy and go to port 3000. And yeah, it may take a bit, you may open it and still not be, so you may need to reload a couple of times, but yeah. We're at the login page. Cool. So we want to register, and it warns you like you are registering as the first user, and this will be their administrator. So this doesn't actually have the power to send you emails, which means you can put any email you want. Which is nice, I appreciate it, because it's my thing, and I don't have to verify my email. So I'm just gonna put, hey, it's Sarah.fail, and I'm gonna put a password. I register, tell Bitwarden that that's a no-no, and we're done. Okay, cool. So, first things first, let's tie this up to a domain so that I don't have to remember my IP address, and I can actually visit it using HTTPS. So for that, you can go on the settings and specify your domain here. And so what I want to use is https://dashboard.sarah.fail. Okay, cool. So if I just do save of this, right, and I try to go there, it's not going to work. Actually, let it finish saving. I think it's going to give me an error. It's probably going to give me an error. Let's see. Well, this is saving. This takes a bit because it's generated. Exactly. It gave me an error, which is a long way of saying I cannot certify that that's you, basically. Okay, so let's come here and let's show how to actually attach it. So this domain is actually on Netlify. So I can go here, just add dashboard, and where will this go to? So this go to the IP address. Can add this as the value. Let me make sure there's no space here because sometimes there's a space. And there we go. So this is what we did. As an A record, we say dashboard goes into this IP address. So now if I try to save again, it should work. You can also see all the other options, which is, do you want to allow registration? And do you want to generate SSL certificates for www and non-www, which I don't care about, so that's fine. And it's saved. Okay, cool. So let's try to go there and let's make sure it works. And it does. It has now logged us in because it's a different domain. So the cookie is like, I don't know who you are, which makes perfect sense. So first thing that I want to show you is let's try to register. And if I just use hey@lol.com and then a password lol, it's going to tell me, wait, if I remove this, registration is disabled by administrator. So this is something that you can turn on and off. So say hey@sarah.fail and my password, and let's log in. Bitwarden, no. God. So let's try to add an application, right? And if we try to add an application, which is any website that we want to host, it's gonna just do the, the Docker thing of like trying to find a cute name, which is I'm just gonna leave it. And it says no configurable Git sources found. So it means we need to add one. And this can be GitHub or GitLab. So if I click Bitbucket, it's still not implemented, but you can use GitLab or you can use GitHub. And with GitHub, you can also fill in on an organization, which is quite cool. So I'm gonna use GitHub, but I'm gonna use my personal. And I'm gonna save. And I'm gonna create a new GitHub app. So it does all of this for you automatically. Oh, thank God, I was already registered. And I'm gonna call 123 at the end of it. And it also uses your domain, which is quite cool. Create GitHub app so that you know what it is, right? You know, like, this is what it is, and it's installed in this domain. Okay, and I'm just gonna add it for all repositories because it's my thing. And save. Okay, and now we have a Git source. So if I come to the applications now, I can click this and select my personal Git source. And it's gonna load the repositories. It takes a while on mine, but that's because I have like 300 repositories. And it's not because I do a lot, it's mostly because I never finish anything. And also when I worked at Code Sandbox, I had to test a lot of GitHub integration. Okay, so we're gonna use .env, which is a small repo that is just using Vita. So it's pretty static. We're gonna use main and save, local Docker. It's gonna suggest node, but actually what we want is static. Usually that works. And so let's go to the install command with yarn, then yarn build. You can just leave this as well, like I'm just using the default one. Don't forget to publish directory to change this to dist. And let's enable debug logs. You can also enable MR and PR previews, which is quite cool. Like it creates previews for your pull requests. But I'm going to enable debug logs because I want to see what is actually happening inside of the container. So again, we need to create the same thing. It needs to point to the IP address. So that's pretty cool. Let's come here and let's add a dot. So it's going to just be dot. And let me copy the IP address again and paste it here. Save. And now we're going to use dot@sarah.fail. Cool. So I'm going to say https dot@sarah.fail. I'm going to save this. And then a bunch of buttons will show up here. One is to build and start the application, the configurations. You can also add secrets. Are the previews. You can also add secrets for previews, the application logs, and the build logs. Okay, cool. Let's start the application, and that will send us automatically to the build logs. Let's click here to follow the logs, and it's installing all the yarn things, linking dependencies. It doesn't have a lot of stuff, so this is pretty fast usually to build. Okay, yarn build. Okay, it's just exposing 80. Proxy configuration started means it's like trying to do the SSL certificate and all of that stuff for us, which is nice. We like that. We like SSL certificates. This usually takes a while the first time you try to do it, and then after that, like it's just like a second. So if it takes a while here, it's actually pretty normal if this is the first time. And you're done. And now I can go here, and I have the website. And that's pretty cool. So I can also go to the application logs, and you can see all of the stuff. So you can see that all of the logs that are provided by, in this case, I think it's using serve, are actually shown in here. So if you have any errors whatsoever, they will show it here. So that's pretty cool. Just to show that you can also like deploy Next.js applications, let's deploy the Blajo website that I made a while ago. So it's going to load repositories again. And I'm going to choose something called Human Blaja. I think it was called Human Blaja. I don't know why I'm saying Blaja. Okay, no, Human Blaja. There we go. And it only has main, save, and this one is going to tell us to use next, which is actually what we want. And let's just add a record for, I'm just going to call it IKEA because I always screw up the Blaja name. I mean, because I don't speak Swedish. But by the way, do you know that Blaja just literally means blue shark? And I love it. It's very like, blue shark. Here's a blue shark. Take it home with you. And I'm like, yes. Okay, yeah, so the port, yarn install, yarn build, yarn start, all of this is fine, and we want debug logs, and we want to save. That's it. So I start the application, and it's going to send us over here to the build logs again. And yeah, this one may take a while longer because it has to build Next.js, which doesn't matter how much stuff you have in it, it's just always like not as fast as like Vite, which only basically has to build an HTML page and like a small JavaScript page, so yeah. So we're gonna sit here and chat while it's resolving the packages. Oh wait, no, because also this like has like 3JS and everything, which is like huge. Yeah, it has like 3JS and React 3 Fiber and all of that stuff. So it's not like the smallest website, but I mean, you know, you should see longer website. You should see bigger websites, not this, like it's just a Bellagio website. But yeah, let's, you know, wait here as a family, stick our time. I really don't have anything to say, so we just, oh, okay. We just have to wait, and I have to follow the logs actually. So it's running yarn build, checking the validity of types. Oh, React Hook has a missing dependency. Either include or remove it from dependency array. I don't care. All right, cool. It's creating an optimized build. And now, at any point, this should be done. It's recommended that you set that to true. My God, why does everything have like, anything that you do right now, right? In anything, doesn't matter what, like anything you build in the front end, it has to have at least like 20 warnings. Because if it doesn't, did you really build it? Like, that's the question. Like, you yarn install something and you have like 30 warnings, and there's no way to like, I think, if you do know a way, please let me know, to default it to not show any warnings. Okay, from my complaining, it worked, I think. So let's try to go to IKEA, that's error.fail, and it works. Look at that, look at this beautiful boy. So show me a random Bellagio, and as you can see, we have the domain, we have an SSL certificate, and we even have this. So we have routes, everything works. It's great. Look at him, he's reading a book. Oh my God, that's so fucking cute. I just can't, I'm sorry. Okay, so showing you how to build this, I'm just gonna show you the last thing that I wanna show you here is databases. So let's create a little Postgres database, which is like super useful that you can just create these databases and like, imagine like you're using Prisma. Yeah, Prisma is the yes. And you just wanna like create a simple website, it has a database, it saves the data, and you can just do it now. You could just do it, and it's great. Ah, God, that was a weird accent. Okay, so by default, the connection will be not set to public, which means that you can only access it from within Docker, like instances running inside Coolify, which is not what we want. Like, I mean, it usually, I will say that like 70% of the cases, this is what you want. But in our case, we just want to see that it's working. So I'm just going to set it to public, and I'm going to save. And then you have to click start database. I keep forgetting this, and then I try to connect to it, and it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm going to open something called Beekeeper Studio, which is a database like, you know, not now, like Looker. I'm just going to call it a Looker. And I'm going to connect to this database. And we have all of the stuff, but there's no publish. Let's just create a table, you know? So this is my table. I don't even know why I'm showing this. Like, you just know, like, now you have a database, and it has a table in it. And isn't just that the best? So now I can open this table and add a thing created at, God, I don't know how to add timestamps. But yeah, apply. Oh yeah, it added the timestamp automatically. We did it. We created a database, and now we can access through it. How do you stop it? You just click stop. Actually, I think you can just delete, but just to make sure you click stop, and then you click delete. And now this database is gone from your life forever. Another thing that there is destination, so you can, I actually don't know, so if anyone knows what this does, I'm not that smart. Another thing that you can add is services. I'm not going to go through it because it takes a while, but there's a bunch of services that you can install. I've tried Vault Warden, NoCodeDB, and Plausible Analytics, and they all work perfectly. I've been using Plausible Analytics and Vault Warden on my own server, and it's great. Like, you have all this control over it. And it's made in a way where, like, it uses Docker, but it doesn't lose any of your data. Like, I want you to know that. Because that was, like, one of my first fears. And like, Andres was the man. The person that created this was like, no, Sarah, that's not. And I was like, okay, cool. So, yeah. The last thing that I want to show you, and I promise this is actually the last thing, is that you can have teams, which is pretty cool. So, if I want to invite someone, right? So, let me invite a member. And I can say, hey, I am sarahviera.com. And read admin. And send invitation. No, oh, yeah. So, the way to send, you can only invite registered users at the moment. So the way you can do this is that if someone registers, so you have to turn on registrations, you can actually invite members, which is quite cool. But you can also create teams. So different teams have access to different stuff on the platform. And that's really, really cool. Like it's very professional in that sense. Yeah, so the next step I think will be a lot of like adding the MX records and everything to make sure that they can actually send emails and stuff like that. So you can see all this stuff, and yeah, that's about it. That's about what I want to show you. You can check out Coolify at coolify.io or at github.com/coollab/Coolify. It's really, really nice. And yeah, there's a lot more stuff like the services and the MR previews that I just don't, it will take way too long to show. But it's an amazing tool. If you have some time and if it's something that interests you, please try it. And yeah, have a great day. And yeah, self-host away.